Good morning and welcome to the SHAC Shack. My name's Barbara Gray from Clarity Stamp here in the UK, and I'm here to keep you company. This is a perfect place to hang out and be creative. It's a safe place, it's a happy place, and it's a creative place. So come on in, and we've got some really lovely things lined up for you for the next few weeks. And yeah, and I don't think there's ever been a better time to hang out and be creative together. So welcome. Safe, happy and creative. Stay home and craft. Come on in, Catherine. Lovely to have your company. What I will do, because I just remembered, I probably need to just turn the volume down a tiny bit here so that I don't shout at you. So while everybody's coming in, let me just adjust that volume a tiny bit so that when I start screeching, it won't hurt your ears. There we go. See, so when I look down like that, it'll be fine. That's better, isn't it? See, it's easier for you to turn your volume up or down, I think. Good morning, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. I know these are turbulent times. It seems that it's just one thing after another, isn't it? One thing after another. And it will be okay. It will be okay. I can't guarantee that, but this too shall pass. You know, everything does. So we just have to stay safe and have a heart, you know, reserve judgment. Just let it go. We can only control the controllable. We can only look after our own back garden, you know? And I don't mean that in a nationalistic kind of way. I mean, there's no point in us worrying ourselves into a frenzy about things that we can't control, you know? Straight after the SHAC Shack, I've got a huge pile of woolens and blankets that I'm going to take to a bank here to be sent to the Ukraine, because it may be cold. It's cold in here this morning because I can't put the heating on because I put the kiln on last night, stupid girl. So, and it'll blow the circuit. So I haven't got any heating in here. And then I thought, shut up, Gray. What's wrong with you? You haven't got any heating? Ukrainian, Russian winter? Oh yeah. No comparison. It's fine. And if it gets very cold, I'll put a pair of gloves on, you know. So yes, so I'm gonna send a load of blankets and things that these poor people will need in the coming weeks. And I hope that you're doing the same thing. Now come on in, because just for here, my friends, just for this hour, let's just calm our minds, you know. I was thinking about it. It's good that we can be together, you know, because it is that helplessness, isn't it? And that threat. It's that threat, isn't it? And I know that it's hard to watch, and it's frightening because it's round the corner and so on. But, you know, us flipping our wigs is not going to help a damn thing. You know, just got to think, what can I do? And I wrote a list, actually. I wrote a list. The first one, these are just about the turbulent times. We're all in the same boat, aren't we? Really? Well, we're not in the Ukrainian boat. That's a terrible place to be right now. Okay, one, I said breathe. I was talking to myself. One, breathe. Okay, this is a really good list. Write it down if you haven't thought about this. Two, this is what I can only speak for myself. Stay busy. I've got to stay busy, and I've got to do something so I feel I'm helping. And so I'm going to, as I say, pack a huge box of warm clothes, because it is brutally cold in that part of the world right now. Okay, this is nothing compared to that. Right. Three, don't obsess over the news. That was the one I wrote down. Don't obsess over the news. I caught myself getting into that wheel, that obsession wheel, because I'm an obsessive. Many of us are. You know that. And I thought, Why am I hanging on? It's a loop anyway. You just hear the same thing with another disaster, another missile, another death, another this, so all we keep doing is listening to the same news, and then they ramp it up, and we keep waiting for the and then the threat, and then the nuclear, and you hear this, and then before you know it, you're absolutely freaking out, and the birds are twittering in your garden, the electric's on, hopefully now after the storms. The Yorkshire tea's still sitting in the tin by the kettle. Your kettle, in your house, in the warm. Telly's on. Do you see? And so we get ourselves into such a state because we're obsessing about the news. So I realised I was doing that yesterday. And I thought, right, I've got to knock that on the head. Once or twice a day, maximum. Oh, yeah, and the other thing I wrote was write a gratitude list. I sometimes forget to do that. And it's so important for me. Again, I can only speak for myself. I write a gratitude list. I write 5 things on a piece of paper that are in my life to be grateful for. And that helps. And it's not being selfish. It's not being selfish. It's a little bit of self-preservation. But what's the point of me losing my mind over things that I can't control? So there we are. Breathe, stay busy, don't obsess over the news, write a gratitude list, and craft. And that brings us really nicely to 10 o'clock. And here we are together to craft. Because when we stay with our hands, we cannot, I certainly can't, concentrate on what I'm doing and start worrying about what Putin's up to. I can't do it. Not if I'm going to get the shading right. Not if I'm going to get that clay, that pottery. I went to Pottery yesterday morning. It was glorious. The sun was shining. It's a very, very light studio where I go. It was wonderful. There were just 2 of us. 2 of us. Lovely woman called Jane and myself. It was great. Yeah, it was lovely. So come on in, and let's enjoy this hour. And don't be feeling guilty. Don't be feeling guilty that we're okay and they're not. Don't feel that guilt, Just enjoy our hour together, really. And what I thought we would do, I thought today was the perfect opportunity to start with those colouring packs. Do you remember? Loads of you, hundreds of you bought those colouring packs that our darling friend Mel Turner illustrated for us, and then our other darling friend Dee Paramore coloured in for us, and then our other darling friend Lisa Reddick compiled for us. So if you have a look here, many of you have already bought this pack, which will be perfect for us. Perfect, okay? Because it's hours and hours and hours of distraction rather than destruction. Here we are. So you can see here, these are your peep sheets. So you can see exactly the fantastic colouring. Look at this. Isn't that just spectacular? Hey? I know. Beautiful. And you've got one of each, an A4 one of each of them. And then you've got a sheet of each of them that's half pint, A5. Okay. And then you've got there you go. So you've got 4 of those. And then you've got the A6, the postcardy ones. Again, a sheet of each of them. And I thought today, so this is like hours and hours of distraction, not destruction. All right. Hours of it. And today, so I blew up one of Dee's pieces of artwork. That's probably the wrong expression. I enlarged. I enlarged. Right, gratitude list. We're together. Top of the list today. Okay. I enlarged one of Dee's really beautiful colours, coloured in versions. And I thought, yeah, so this is cool, right? Really cool. Let's have a look on the other camera and see. Let's just indulge it. It's not what we're going to do though, but this is an opportunity. This is something, you know, when you want to get with your hands and you're not sure, it's great to have something to work towards, you know. So I thought what would be nice, we're going to take the March hare because it's nearly March. And I thought, well, that would be perfect. Let's do the March hare. I'll show you what I did with it. So have you got the A4 one? Have you got the A4 one? Huh? Let's have a look. Loads of you in the room, I hope. And I hope that I should have changed the batteries. So I've got the A4 one. Let's have a look. Here we are. So it's good size. I mean, it's not massive. That's an A4 piece of really lovely card. Take water. You can take all that. We're going to do that. You can take oil, take water. Right? That's the one we're going to do. So if you wanted to, that's what I'm saying, you could just take your inspiration sheet that's in here, isn't it? That one. And use that as a guide. That'd be nice. Or we could do what I've changed. Because I looked at this and I thought, yeah, I love this. I love birch trees, you know, love a silver birch. But I thought, well, it's only line art. We can do what we like with this. So I thought, well, let's take this tangle and let's get some depth, because this is a wonderful opportunity to get some depth going, right? Now that's what I thought we would do. So this is my one. And you can see by just adding lines, you've got to establish what trees what's at the back, what's at the front. It's really, it's very, very, very therapeutic to do this. So if I show you, let's have a look, see if you can see. Let's look at the top. Right, there you go. There you go. So you can see how I've isolated. See, I've pulled out so you can see where the tree is. Because when you actually look at the picture itself, it's quite flat. It's quite forgiving. You see, it's as flat as a tack. So the idea, I love this, don't you? To be able to just start adding depth. Good. And this is how you would approach most artwork with stamping. You'd stamp whatever's at the front, mask it off, go to the back. So what we've got here is 2D line art. And now it's a great game because what we can do is start pulling it to the front. Do we like? I think this would be nice. So, and you'll notice that what I also did, you remember last week, and I know you enjoyed this a lot, we did this, didn't we? Do you remember when we did this with the cotton buds, when we used cotton buds for colouring? Well, I used exactly the same colours. I added one colour, you know, and this is what we're going to do. But I thought it would be so nice for this one to go loosely with the colour, you know, like really arty. And you'll notice that, so we're going to have another run at that, but on a different scale. That doesn't take long at all. What takes the time is bringing out all the different depths, which is a great distraction. Great distraction. You see? But you can see now, and I've added a little bit of blue here. I just added a bit of blue in here, but I did that afterwards actually. So I thought it needed it. And that's the nice thing about this. You see, you can, I think now, having done this job, I think, first of all, we'll work out the depth just with pencils, right? Then we'll do our cotton bud and then we'll put our shading in. Because I think that works, you know, that works. I did the cotton bud first and then I try to find which trees were behind which trees. And I kept thinking, this would be a lot easier if it was white. Well, it is white, and yeah, got me? So let's do this. And what do we need? Well, have you got your A4? God, it's cold in here, but it's not as cold as in the Ukraine. Shut up, Barbara. Right. Now, it's just fresh. But I don't want to turn the heater on, because it's the heaters that blow the circuit on a very heavily overloaded kiln circuit. Come on in. Right. Bark, not barred. I don't see the hair in the background till now. Oh, you didn't see the hair in the background. Yeah, well, that's it. We'll there's a hair in the background. Okay. I found working on the large piece, it's the opposite of what you think. Because it's large, it's easier to work with, right? Because it's more relaxing. Because normally you think a big piece of artwork, oh, daunting, might take a little bit longer, you know, with the shading and that, but it's easier on the eyes. It's easier on the old eyes. How are you? Got your bits? Well, first of all you need to begin with is a pencil, really, just an HB pencil, that will do. And what we've got to do before we do anything is establish which trees are where. How's that sound? Okay, you good with that? What's the time? 10 past. Cool, it's been a weekend. But again, every time I say that, a little voice in my head goes, yeah, but you don't live in the Ukraine. So you see what I mean? It right sizes your life, you know, doesn't it? It really does. Well, it does mine anyway. Now let's have a look. So the first thing I want to do is kind of decide which tree's at the front and which tree's at the back. So I thought, since he's at the front, I think this tree, let's start in the middle. I think this tree here, it's best to start at the bottom and then just work your way. So this branch is in front of that tree. I'm going to come in really tight on this because I think you can't see it. Now, let's see if you can see that. I put me Make Art Not War t-shirt on. It's under here. The intention's there, but it's too cold. It's on. Make Art Not War. And that is really important. It's my most important t-shirt. Make Art Not War. Right, I'm just going to sharpen this, and now we're going to get going. Can you see the lines better now, or is it still difficult to see? Paul, what do you think? Can we see the lines? Because I can't see. I can't see a thing. Let's have a look. See if I can. Let me just check the lines. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. It's just the wrong glasses. Look. Can see, can't see. Can see, can't see. Can see far away. Can see up close. I tried a pair of bifocals once, and it was trippy. I don't know how you wear those bifocals. Maybe I need to persevere a bit because it's on off, driving me potty. But it could always be worse, remember? Right, so this tree, let's do the front one, and then everything else will flow from there. So this is this trunk here, and then this trunk separates into that line. So this one goes, this is in front now. See, that's behind. Let's just stick with this branch. There. So this one goes up there, around there, and there. Then this one, this branch here, right, this is at the front. All right, start from the bottom again. Go to this one. So this big one comes up here. There. I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier. It's so much easier. It's so much easier on white. What? I covered this in colour and then I tried to do it. Believe you me, pencil lines first. Right, this one. So then this one, this is the front. And then it breaks. So this is part of that one there. So that goes there, like that, Cool, what a piece of cake this is. Right, now what we've got here, so this one's coming round here, and because we're using a pencil, if we get it wrong, it's not the end of the world, is it? Right, so this one's coming round here as well. And then these two are off the same tree. So I'm going to say that I'm going to put, what do I think? That was a bit fatter than that one. So whatever you fancy. That one's in front of that one. So that's that. This is going around there. Now, this one is this one here, isn't it? Are you doing this with me? Or are you just hanging out? There you go. So that tree's that one. Okay. Next one back. Well, I think this one here is also at the front. Let's do this one now at the side. So this one is here. Right, this is at the front. For sure. I think so anyway. That's at the front. So then this one's right at the front. That one's a little bit further back. So that one goes there. And this one goes. Is that one? That's it. That's that tree sorted. Yeah. So what about, let's have a look. So now I think this one's right behind this one now. Oh, this one looks further in the front. Right, let's do this one next. It's entirely up to you. You can change the perspective on this. So that's easy because this one's really quite, there's not a lot of overlap on that one. So you've got that one there, and that one there. That's easy. So now it's just these two. Are we all right with this? Now let's have a think. Right, so this one's going to be at the furthest at the back. That's what I think. But it's up to you entirely. There you go. Did you manage to find us on Friday when we launched the new TV channel? It was shambles. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one comes round there, and that's it there. So that's great. And then that one's taken care of because it's at the back. So that wasn't so bad, was it? Hey? That wasn't so bad at all. Now just check that you're happy with that. See, what I like about doing this is it makes you get really familiar with the, let me just check. Where's Paul? Yeah, thank you, Paul. You get really familiar with the artwork, so you see exactly what's going on. And now we've added the lines in there. See, that will help us a lot when we go to add shade through here and through the back here. I mean, I could make this a lot darker if I wanted to, but I think it's just perfect as it is. Okay, that'll do. Right, so we've got that done. Are you okay? Everybody happy? Everybody all right? Got to travel gently, Do you remember we said that? We said that last year, didn't we? Still got to travel gently, haven't we? Travel gently. It's very important. All you've got to do today, my friend, is get through today. Tomorrow, we'll deal with tomorrow, right? So today, let's have the best day that we can have. Because if we do, then we'll wake up tomorrow refreshed because yesterday was a good day. Conversely, if today we panic and we worry and we're glued to the telly, right, then tomorrow we'll wake up and we'll be like that before we've even had a cup of tea. You should have been there on Friday, right? It was almost, well, it was comedy gold, really. So the odds were stacked against us to start with, right? And the 7 o'clock 7 o'clock show was all right. We were there. What time did we get there, Paul? Like 5 o'clock in the morning or something ridiculous, right? So we'd been up half the night before the TV show even launched at 9 o'clock for us. But we got up there early and we set the counter up and that, because it was the day that the 2 channels were launching. And it was working okay at 7 o'clock for those good people. And it was working okay. You know, people were checking out their baskets and sales were pouring in and it was all lovely dove. You know, it was perfect. Then 9 o'clock came and we were ready. And by that time, I'd been lulled into quite a false sense of security. And I was with Martin, who I've known for many years. And 2 or 3 minutes in, the website just went, whoom, the whole lot crashed. I mean, properly. And it turns out that so many people all arrived at the same time and wanted to buy that the whole lot went down. Yeah. And so it wasn't the most profitable day I've ever had. But it was a growing day. Let's call it a growing day. Okay. And at one point, I can't tell you this. So at one point, because it's quite a head game, keeping going, there were no monitors, we were in the dark, we had no item codes, everything crashed. It was like a vroom, right? And but we kept going because we knew that somebody was watching. Somebody had found it. Oh yeah, that's right. There was no Sky at that point. They decided not to turn on at that point. Virgin, which we were really chuffed about having, they hadn't arrived by then either. They hadn't gone into the office to flick the switch. So it was pretty exhausting, because the people at the Create and Craft, the craft store, both channels, they've been working day and night to knit this together to get it right, you know. And then first hurdle, woof, down it went. So, and then Martin and I were like, ding. So Paul was writing the item codes on the pieces of paper, holding them up to us. But the problem was that everybody that was new to the website had to change their password, and therein lay the problem. So you got hundreds and hundreds of people trying to change their passwords. It was accessory. Anyway, that was that, right? It was fine. We got through it, you know. And then I went and sat in the loo. You know that moment where you've faked it to make it, and everybody's, you know, yeah, first hour, fine, whatever. It'll get better. That's what we said. It'll get better. Don't you worry. And then I went and sat in the loo. Well, I went to the loo and I sat down, and the lights are those, the lights in the loos are the motion. You know, when you walk in, you have to wave your arms around a little bit and then the light goes on. So I sat in the loo. It was the only place really where you can actually just be who you are, right? So I was sitting there thinking, what happened there, right? And then suddenly the lights went out. So I was sitting in the loo in the dark. I thought, oh no, we've had a power cut as well. And I was waving my arms around. So there I was in the pitch black on the loo, waving my arms around, trying to get the light to come back on. I thought, oh no, don't tell me we've had a total power cut, an outage. But we hadn't. I just wasn't high enough for the motion detector. Wrong motion. Anyway, yeah, so shall we crack on? It was entertaining. Pat, no surprise I couldn't find you then. No surprise you couldn't find us, Pat. I'll tell you what we'll do now, though, because things have settled down. Paul, what I want you to do is just write a little list of the different channels and the numbers. Will you do that? Yeah, that would be brilliant. Because we're coming back. We are coming back, all things being equal. We'll be back I'm on Sunday. There's write this down. There's a little change to the program. You know, there is a lot of change going on. And I know you don't like change. I don't like change, and nobody does. But always in brackets say, but it's, don't sweat the small stuff. This isn't worth getting upset about. Keep it real. Keep it real. Okay. The time That my usual slot is from 2 to 4, isn't it? First Sunday of the month, 2 o'clock till 4 o'clock. Always has been. Well, it's changed. So now it's from 3 to 5. That's all right. I'm still so lucky to have a 2-hour slot, a 2-hour full-on demos, arts, tricks and tips. You know, I think I'm the only one on the channel that's still allowed to have a 2-hour slot. Long may it continue. All they've done is move the slot round a bit. So now it's from 3 to 5. Okay? Okay, write it down. Oh, I doesn't even know what to do that. There you go. That would be enough. Oh, Barbara. So, gratitude list. I'm really grateful. I've still got a 3 to 5 show. 2 to 4, 3 to 5. Okay. Now, should we do some? Come on, let's do some colouring. Did you manage to buy some cotton buds? Did you? Who did this with us on Thursday? Right? Who did this with us on Thursday? Loads of you did, because I saw loads of lovely artwork. So what we're going to do, right, rather than do all the shading now, let's just randomly add some colour. And because I felt I liked this colour for spring, that's why we used it. Look, travel gently and peace. Oh yeah. I used exactly the same colours in here as in here. A little bit lighter, maybe a bit waterier, yeah, a bit gentler. And yeah, definitely. I think I watered it down just a bit more. And I also added a blue, but that's the same palette. Okay, excuse me. Same palette. So let's have a look what we used. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take our, let me just take that out of the way so I don't spoil it. Take a bit of copy paper so that you can see the colours. Right, so I'm still using the same palette as we used last Thursday. And the colours that I've used, where are they? Is this them here? Right, let's have a look. Yeah, I decided to lose the peeled paint. So we've got Shabby Shutters, Evergreen Bough, that's that lovely tealy colour. This is distressing, not distress oxides, not the chalky ones, the watery ones. Right, so you've got mustard seed yellow, Shabby Shutters, lovely green, Evergreen Bough, and tumbled glass. So these are on the website. If you haven't got them, they're really nice. I'm going to lose the peeled paint, which I used on this one. It was just a little bit dark, I felt, for what we're going to do. Can always what I figured out was now, after we've done all the shading and all the colouring over the top of this, we can go back to our cotton buds and we can add more colour. I did with the blue. So it's not set in stone. You can add more depth afterwards if you want to. If you want to get a little bit more detail. Just what I did was I made one with just 3 cotton buds instead of 7. See, because this was too big really. So then I went to the 3 with my little blues. See. And that then was the right size because I just wanted to go into this area. I wanted to leave the trees white. I was sort of working on the negative art. I was putting colour more in the back, shade in the back, you see? Oh, it's still wet. Right. So what we'll do is, should we do this? It was so much fun. I know you enjoyed it because I saw your artwork, really cool. And because we enjoyed it, I thought, right, well, let's roll that technique into a larger piece so that you can see you don't have to have it perfectly coloured in. It can be just like a splash of colour in a direction, you know, in an area. So if you look at that versus these, let's just take a look and you'll see what I mean. See, so it's very splatty, but it's also still very, very nice. Okay, so this is where we're going to go. Let's do this. We've got so many opportunities to do this kind of colouring, but I thought it'd be nice to just approach it with it from a different angle, you know. Because I tell you what it does, it distracts you. Doing something different, it's a distraction. Very important for us right now. Okay, so evergreen bough. What I'm going to do is just refresh my ink. I'm not going to wash this off, because as soon as I add water to it, that'd be mad to wash it off. I'm just refreshing my palette. I'm using one of our mix mats. See, in this mix mat, this one, I'm just going to use it as my paint palette, my colouring palette, my colour palette. There we go. Water. And even when it dries out, all I've got to do is add a bit of water to it. So I'm not going to waste it. I'm just going to add a bit of water to it, and then I can go again, you see. And then, freezing in there. It's not as cold as in the Ukraine, though. Right. Just keep remembering that. Whatever's going not well in your life, just keep thinking, well, it could be worse. Could always be worse. Right, now let's have a look. We're going to use these. This is what we did. Those of you who weren't around with us on Thursday, what we did was we took cotton buds. I'm going to go again so you can see it. Right, so you take the cotton bud and you need elastic bands. So I've got these little hair bands. They're really cool. Right, just a little, these are great. Hairdressers use these to do lots of little, when you put the hair up. Right, so let's have a look. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 7 in there. So I've got my little bunches of 7 there. And then I've got a little one of 3. So I've got a 3 and I've got a 7. So why don't I make a 5? There you go. 5. Yeah. That'd be quite good. 5 is good. And then, so you can use them again and again. They dry out. They're excellent, they are. Right, there you go. So make my little, got 2 ends. See? Oh, no. Ingenious. I can't take credit for this. As I said on Thursday, I saw this on a YouTube. A guy was using paints to do this, and he made some amazing trees with it. And I saw it a couple of years ago, and I thought, that is really clever, you know. And I stored it, you know, like you do. You think, nice. And I stored it. And then last week I thought, do you know what? It's sort of bubbled to the surface again. And I thought, I couldn't remember where I saw it either. So I kind of had to, I don't know whether I've done this right, but that was exactly, well, it worked last week, didn't it? So there you go. And he did it with paint now, I do know that. And we're doing it with ink. And what I've done now is I'm just roughing up the tops a little bit, but we could probably do that after. And you need a little bit of water. You got water as well. And a bit of card. There, just a bit of card that's using the same. See, many of you, we're repeating ourselves, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt to do it again. So you put a bit of water in here. Hang on, let's pan out a little bit so you can actually see what I'm doing. Right, okay. Okay. Right. Do that. And then you've got some water on there, a little bit much, right? So I've gone on to a bit of card. First things first, yellow. We're going in the yellow, right? So we're adding a bit of water. Right, and then what you don't want is dots. You see how it looks? See, it looks, well, I'm saying you don't want, maybe you do want, right? Because they do bleed, they do sort of spread out a little bit. But what you can do, you see, if you don't want dots, you can take a pair of tweezers and you can just see what's happening as well. There's only 2, look, you can see only a couple of them are actually picking up the ink. So what I'm going to do is just pull out like that, so you don't get dots. You get more smeary. Yeah, there you go. That's more like it. So you go like that, right? And then you, yeah, beautiful, right? So you've got a bit of scrap, so you can practice on a bit of scrap. And then, right, so we've got our little paint palette here, right? Gotta keep breathing, breathe. Now, next thing, do not start saying, oh, I don't want to spoil it. It's a bit of card with a printed picture on it. That's all it is, right? It's a bit of card with a picture printed on it. You got loads of other ones, All right, so don't start worrying about that you're going to spoil it. This is the cheapest therapy that you could possibly imagine. All right, just look on it as lovely therapy. So you've got your palette. Okay, this is exactly what it is. And what we're going to do, right? Do you want to have one more good look at where I've gone? Look everywhere. So you can see yellow around the plants. I've avoided the rabbit or the hares. I've avoided the hares. I've put yellow in the leaves, and I've put yellow like as if there was foliage in the trees. Okay. And I've gone outside of the, you see how I've gone outside beyond the line as well. But don't sweat the small stuff. Right, here we go. Right, that's it. So I'm going to start up here, and you can move them around. It's a building game. There we are. Look, just a little bit of yellow. Put a bit outside. Dance around. Dance. Dance around in here. This is quite concentrated. Okay. It's quite yellow, not diluted. So I'm putting it where the leaves are. It's all right. I'm going to put loads more in. Don't you worry. Right, just a little bit there. I've got a bit of a nice. All right. There you go. So you've got a bit of yellow in there. Dancing around. And then maybe we'll go again. Let's have a look. What we got now? A bit more yellow. Should we do a bit more yellow? Yeah, come on. Right, a bit more water. Bit more water, Wasser. A bit more yellow. So I think it's going to be lovely. Right. So that's what we did. For those of you who weren't around, that's exactly what we did. With these, look, see? It's cool, isn't it? You can see now when you look, you can see exactly how we ended up with all our little dots everywhere. All right? So it's one colour on top of another colour is what we're headed for, isn't it? So if you want to see this particular, this was last Thursday. So that would have been number 251. Bus number 251 left the station at 10 o'clock last Thursday, didn't it, Paul? So there you go. And the other thing is, if you think, oh, I think I've overcooked it, it's all a little bit blobby, just take a tissue, right, and then pull it back. Look, I can pull it back. I don't feel that I have overcooked it, but if I wanted to, you can blot it. See? Go again. And if you want a bit more, a little less round and a little more wispy, that's very wispy grey. Just use your tweezers to pull out your fibres. There you go. And then we'll go again. Nice. Very freeing. Liberating. Cool, these are good words. Right, there you go. Make art, not war. Don't you wish you could do more? I know. It is that helplessness, isn't it? And 2 years of being locked in, no sooner. Imagine what it must be for those poor people. They've just had the same 2 years as we've had, with probably not an NHS, right? So they've just had all that, just about starting. I don't know what the situation was for those poor people with COVID, you know. And then all of a sudden, boom! No sooner have you taken your mask off, than they've all arrived on your doorstep, or your neighbours. Yikes. Right, so that's the yellow. And you know when I say, look, see, isn't it funny? I have to stand up to do this so I can. Right, that will do. So because I stand up, I'm stepping away from it, I can see it better, right? And then I go, well, okay, that'll do for now, because you can always go back in with the yellow afterwards. Totally. And I'll tell you another thing, this is so much better, putting the lines in and defining the trees before you start. If you want a challenge, do it what I did, do it the other way around. Now, I'm going to go in the greeny one. So I'm turning it around. So I've got my yellow at that end. I want to leave my yellow yellow. Yellow's yellow. If I contaminate that and put green on it, it's going to be, I'll never get my lovely yellow back. And what I'm trying to say in my own clumsy way is that it's like the brushes. You know when you know the Clarity stencil brushes, and I always say, yeah, they're washable, but leave the yellow yellow. Don't bother trying to wash the yellow brush. Just leave the yellow yellow, because it doesn't matter what, if you use, I don't know, orange with it, you'll never get that lovely yellow back again. It'll always be an orangey yellow. Do you see what I mean? Or if you use a blue with it, then you're never going to get anything other than green. So leave your yellow yellow. Now let's have a look. This one, this is a lovely colour. I like this colour. Which one's this? Shabby Shutters. Shabby Shutters, this is. Oh, my hands are freezing. This kiln. What a fool. Do you know what I did? This is so silly of me. So I've got this kiln that I've been threatening to fire up. That's nice. Bit two circles. Right. So I've been loading this kiln. It's taking forever to load a kiln. That's the thing. When you're on your own, you know, to load a full-blown kiln takes weeks, especially when you work at the same time. So, because I only do pottery on my days off, really, don't I? Anyway. So I've got this beautiful big bowl in the pottery in the kiln, and I thought, I don't really. So you got two bisque firings. You can either go up fast, which is a bit radical, or you can take it up slowly, at which point the bowl will probably not change shape. You see, if you go up too fast, because you've got to go up to 1,000 degrees. If you go from 0 to 1,000 really quickly, sometimes the clay, even though it's hard, it's not. It can go, hang on a minute, and it flops a bit. So I thought, I'll do the slow firing, I thought, being an expert. 15 hours later, it's like crying out loud. How long does it take to get to 1,000 degrees? So my bad. And I can't go, I can't blimmin' now. Green over the top of the yellow. I mean, it's a very light green. Yeah, so what I'm saying is I can't now go and, this is lovely. There you go. I know you don't think that you can see much, but you can. And if you want to get sort of more specific on the leaves, single out one of the buds. You see? Just single out one of the buds and get in there. I mean, I'm not saying that the leaves have got to be green, and, you know, that's not true. I'm just listening to a cat outside. Yeah, so the kiln is now coming down from 1,000 degrees, which also takes as long to go up as it does to come down. So it's going to be chilly in here until tomorrow. And I know you would think, well, you just pull the plug out, but I don't think I can. I daren't. I daren't. There'll be a reason why. I don't think you just switch it off and let it cool down by itself. That's what I'm saying. So I'm just going to leave it, put a jumper on in a minute. I know I've got my Make Art Not War t-shirt on. That's all that matters. I know, close to my heart. I'm having a private protest. Okay. Bit of green. I am. I'm having a little bit of a personal protest in my heart. And that's probably okay, you know. Right. There you go. So we've got a bit of green on there now. I know you think it doesn't show, but it does. It will. It will. Look. A mess. I know. Well, keep the faith, because we know how good it looks when it's done, don't we? Well, actually, look at that. I'm quite pleased with that. See, I love it when it's a little bit blotchy. How else are you going to do that? I don't know. Well, you can't. I can't imagine how else I would do that. See? And if I wanted to, I could still add a bit more. Right, so I've done the light green now. in that area. We could do a bit more of that as well, can't we? But that'll do for the moment. And I've gone out over the edge a bit. That'll do. I wonder if, let me just take that one again, because that's a little bit very, very fine. I might add a little bit more of that to the mix again. Just put that back. I might use that again in a minute. Right, so then I've got one here for me darker. Now we're going into the darker one. So I'm going for this was that evergreen bough. Love that colour. Oh, tealy, evergreen bough. Well, it's like, it is exactly what it says on the tin, isn't it? Okay, let's have a look. Right, this is dry. See, if you do it dry, you get a different effect. It's quite patchy, see? Look. So I think we're going to wet it and get a much gentler effect. So that's why I've got my little pot and I'm just going to add a little bit of water. Just stick the ends of my cotton buds in there, right? No worries. Now, make sure it's not too wet. Right, because otherwise it would be so watery, it won't make any difference. Let's have a look. Now we're cooking with gas. Look. See? Nice, eh? And if you think it's a little bit too like round, like circly, then just pick the top of the, like that. Just pick the top of the cotton buds with, yes. Right, now let's get this right. So I want to add my cotton, this lovely colour, and I'm dancing around, and see how I'm rotating? There we go. Let's get some of that colour in. And in the leaves here as well. Can always add more, can't we? Add a bit more, actually. That's it. And don't worry about if you go in, just mind the rabbits, the hares. Don't go in the hairs, because we want them to be, we're going to colour them in, make them stand out. Like somebody said, you know, I didn't even know there was a second hair. So what I'm doing is I'm using the sides as well. So you can use the sides if you want to go in around the hair but not on the hair. You want to get that leaf that's right next to him. So you just use the side of the, it's quite good, you know. Out you come. Let's go outside of the, oh, I love this. Let's go for it. Come on, Gray. Let's really get some movement. And we can always come back and add some. Isn't that lovely to do, though? Okay. So let me stand up. Where have I missed a bit? Cool. The colours do blend beautifully, don't they? There we go. In there a bit more. And if you want to water it down, it's easy. Just dip your thingies, your cotton buds in the water. Let's have a look. Not too much. Just looks so nice when it's done, doesn't it? Yeah, I want a bit of depth. But like I said, you can always come back and add more. This isn't final. Right, a bit more around the edge. A bit of depth around the edge, you know? There. Do you like that colour, don't you? Now, here's the $1 million question. Oh, I've just realised. Because now it's wet, right? I've got to let that dry. What's the time? 10 to 11. If I put the hairdryer on or the heat gun, see, that also could blow the circuit. On a happy note, right? What I'm doing in the kiln, I'm making pencil pots, lots of pencil pots, and because we're going to have our open days this summer, we're going for it, aren't we, Paul? You know, when we all get together, we think that by, when is it usually, Paul? June, isn't it? We're going to have our open days in Maidstone where we all get together and all the team and the demonstrators and Linda and possibly Tina will be able to join us, and Josie and Hazel and Jane, and just get everybody down into this area for a big get together. And then we have demonstrations and giveaways and raffles, and it's just a big celebration really of all things Clarity. And I said, you know what? I'm going to have a little pottery table, because I'm just going to make a load of pottery and I'm going to sell it there. That's what I'll do. I'll sell it there. Yeah. And every penny that we make, every penny that I make off the pottery, I think we'll give it to charity. Hey? Yeah. Every single penny that we make off that table. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. Thing is, if I now start with the pencils, because it's not dry, it's got to be dry. But that's my point. If I get the hairdryer out, then I might blow the system. I've got to be so careful with the vocabulary that I'm using. I may overload the circuit. And then we'll all be in the dark in the toilet. Right. Yeah, so between now and then, what I'm going to say is I'm making these pencil pots and whatever else I can make, bowls and pencil pots and whatever. And then we'll just, and I will charge a hefty price. I will charge a hefty price for my beautiful pottery. Okay, so bring your purses. But the money is going to go to charity. And I think at that point, we'll know which charity needs it most at that point. All right, jury's out on that one. Is that okay? Are we in? Are we up for it? Teamwork. I'll make it, you buy it. That's like that. Dad, you know the piano's on my foot. You hum it, son, and I'll play it. See, I'm playing for time here because this has to be dry. In fact, let's have a look. It's 10 to. Do you know what? I would suggest, because I know what's going to happen if I put this heat gun on. It's going to go. So we're going to travel gently. And, oh, you're putting in orders now. I hope you make, oh, I thought someone's written, I hope you make a butter dish. Butter dishes. It's taken me a whole term to make a butter dish. Rest assured, the butter dishes will cost hundreds. The butter dishes will be the butter dish we'll have a silent auction on. That thing took all term. And it still hasn't been glazed. I haven't had time to glaze it yet. Never mind. Anyway, what we'll do on Thursday when we get together, we'll start on the shading. So that gives you time now. We could put a bit of blue in, I suppose. Should we add a little bit of blue now? Yeah, come on. Let's add a bit of blue. And then on Thursday, we'll start with the pencil work so it's nice and dry. Because it has to be dry before you start the shading. If I go into this with pencils, I will wreck it, because it will the fibers of the paper and the card have to be reset. They have to have settled down, or you just rough them up. Right. So let's have a look. If I take that, and I'm going to go to my tumbled glass. I thought this would be the best colour for a gentle sky, a spring sky, March hares. Right, tumbled glass. So if you're looking for this, tumbled glass, evergreen bough, mustard seed, shabby shutters. There you go. Those are the colours. Right, tumbled glass. Nice. It's a very, very gentle colour. It's a brilliant one if you want to do, like with the brayer, you know, you want to do a landscape. See, that's the other thing we could do, is use a brayer on one of these landscapes as well. That'd be nice. Now let's have a look. So I've got my little my blue one. I already did it. I used three because 3 cotton buds, because I wanted to get inside these areas. So now I need to wet it though, because that'll be too, it needs to be very, very gently. Let's have a look. Then we've got, see how it moves? I love it. I love this. Right. That reminds me, I watched a really good film. It's about the Ricardos. I Love Lucy. You know Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz Jr. And it's with Nicole Kidman. If you're looking for a good watch, that's a good film. You know, very good film. I love Lucy. Genuinely, I love Lucy. You know, I've always loved Lucille Ball. I think she's amazing. Right. See, you can get in here and do a bit of... Anyway, if you're looking for a good watch, as in something good to watch, I recommend that. She's such a fabulous actress, isn't she? So that looks a little bit too spotty for my taste. Loses it. Right, that'll do. Yeah, it's good. Where did we watch it on? It must have been Netflix, I suppose. Anyway, very, very good. Very, very good film. Held my attention while I was colouring in my hairs. As in my hairs. Yeah, I did that in front of the telly yesterday evening. There. So a little bit of blue. Don't want it too dark, but you don't want to... See, you could put a little bit of blue out there. And the thing is, you can always add it, but you can't take it away. So, and on that happy note, got a bit of blue going now. Do I think I want to add a bit of blue down there? So you could really give it... What happens if you really press hard? Steady grey. You get... That's what happens. You get blue splotches. So don't do that. Looks like Pebble Dash. I'll dry it quickly. I can't. Right, in the house, hairdryer job. Okay. All right, listen, I'm going to love you and leave you because I want to repair those dots now where I've just gone do. Don't press too hard or you'll end up like that. Have a fabulous week. What else is going on? What are we going to do to keep you company this week and keep you calm? Keep calm and carry on, friends. Tomorrow it's Groovy Tuesday with Paul at 10 o'clock. Then on Thursday, we're back to this and it'll be lovely and dry and shading. And then what we're going to do then, Sunday, 3 to 5. Hopefully it will have improved by then. Oh, I wish I could show you, but I can't. I'll show you. I think, do you know what? Oh, and then on Friday, there's something really fabulous, something very exciting on the Sunday show, which is why I really hope that the website over there doesn't fall over. I think it'll be fine by then, but something really superb, like proper. Dave, and it's a collaboration, really super. You'll love it. And then on Friday, this coming Friday, winding back this way, I'm going to do a moment of clarity at 3 o'clock on Facebook Live, which is the one where it's more selly telly. I'm going to do a Facebook Live because we talked about it. So many of you, like Pat, couldn't find the TV programs on Friday because there was no Sky, there was no Virgin, there was no this, there was no that. So we thought it would be best if I do a Facebook Live on Friday at 3 o'clock. I'll do a couple of demos that I had all planned for last Friday that didn't happen. Okay, so come then, and then I'll show you what the big launch was, and you can buy it then if you fancy it. They're really cool. But I'll do a couple of demos. So if you have got them, I can show you what to do with them as well. Okay, so that's Friday at 3 o'clock, Facebook Live, and then the big cheese, the big Create and Craft TV on Sunday at 3 o'clock as well, 3 to 5, 2 hours. Anyway, there you go. That's that. I'm going to, well, you see, when they dry, they're not so bad. Look, my dots in the background. I'll blend them in. Lots of love to you. Have a good week. Get grateful. Stay calm. I'm going to read that list one more time for you. Breathe. Stay busy. Don't obsess over the news. Write a gratitude list and craft. Lots of love. Thanks for your help, Paul. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.